Hey guys, today we're going to gather 40 Paladins and 40 Evokers to battle it out in the Field of Strife to see which is the most powerful class. And how we're going to recruit this many people? Well, I'm going to log into every popular EU server and check the /who list. Then I'll manually message everyone. I spent probably about 20 hours doing this over the course of 4 days to gather enough players. And then finally, when we're done recruiting, we gather up and queue for a war game. Once inside, we'll head to the Field of Strife and battle it out in a best of 5. At the top of the screen, you'll see the remaining players on each side during the battle, as well as the amount of wins after each round. Here's a compilation of what people think will happen, as well as reactions during recruitment phase. So the question is, who do you think will win? The Paladins or the Evokers? Leave a comment and let's get into it. During the first round, the Evokers were winning. Sadly, the Paladins released and ran back into battle, which were against the rules, and that in turn overwhelmed the Evokers. So the Evokers get the first score. You guys can blame me for not making it clear at the start of combat about this rule, however. Also, do you guys notice we have a mage and a warrior in the Evoker group? Well, recruiting Evokers have been the toughest class in all of my years of doing 40v40s. For example, I searched for 80 Paladins, and we get 22 hits. And then when I get to Evokers, we get a total of 0 people found. It seems to be a really rare class these days. So for the event to even happen, I desperately had to fill in the remaining spots. Also, did you notice the /who interface is bugged? You try to whisper someone on it, but right clicking on the character brings up someone completely different. Well done, Blizzard. Well, anyway, let's go to round 2. This battle was very close at the start. However, the Paladins managed to pick off the Evokers one by one, and got the upper hand, ultimately winning the battle. Now, after this round, we had some technical issues. One, the Paladins were stuck, and they couldn't resurrect. Why? Because they queued in with us, Alliance players, as a horde. And that bugs them out in a war game like this, because they can't use Alliance graveyard, since they are a horde, right? But they couldn't use a horde graveyard either, because a horde graveyard is owned by the enemy team. So they got pretty much stuck in a limbo. Also, a few Evokers and a Paladin had left before the third round, so we weren't fully 40v40 anymore, and it's impossible to fill in the empty spots. Anyway, let us see what happens in the third round. As you can already see, the Evokers lost too many early in the combat. They had horrible early pressure, which could be thanks to both damage shield and spell warding on the Paladin side. It was a complete Paladin stomp. One thing I'm really proud of with Blizzard is that this 40v40 event is the first one in forever that there was no lag whatsoever. Unlike 5 years ago, when you couldn't even do this because the instant would break and people were stuck running on the spot. So, well done. Now for the fourth battle, we had a few more Evokers drop off, which means we let some of our Paladins stay back, to make it more fair. Remember, if Paladins win this one, they'll be victorious. It might look like a super intense battle. It was at the start, but then the Evokers started to cheat and spam resurrecting. which end up with the Paladins retreating and the Evokers winning. But hey, truth is, we did have round 3 with the Evokers being slightly outnumbered, so let's give them this win. And we have one final battle, one final all-out brawl, including heroism available to the Evokers. Let us see who the most powerful class is. And once again, Paladins stomped. So why did the Paladins win? Well, if you don't think about our immunities, some Evokers speculated that they caused their own downfall. Because they used the PP talent Divide and Conquer, which create line of sight walls on the battlefield, so the melee class Paladin now has an opportunity to hide behind line of sight, while the range class is unable to use their own spells against us. Whoops. Also, if you wonder why I die so easily, it's because I'm stuck in Season 2 gear. I just came back, okay? Anyway, thank you everyone for joining, and for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!